I thought I had learned enough and how to navigate it and whatnot.
Yeah.
When the person who was running the clinical program, where I was learning about criminal defense and working with the clinic and representing clients under a student practice order in Manhattan,
Hmm.
um, she told me that I needed to be more submissive to her. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, that was very tough for me to just take, obviously. And I knew what it meant, I knew why she said it. Um,
Well, there's tone there. There's a lot of tone there because somebody that wants to manipulate or stronghold the position, they don't even have to necessarily tell you that you need to submit. They will say certain things. They'll just start telling you what to do. Hey, go over there and go get that. Hey,
yeah,
have
but
you
she
stepped
specifically did tell me. She
outside? Yeah,
told me to my face that I needed to be more submissive to her.
no.
And so that was my experience. And then she also criticized every single thing that I did in the clinical program, including the clothes that I wore to the
Sure,
program.
sure.
And it was interesting because her co-program runner or whatever, like I had a conversation with her at a certain point, and I explained to her some of the concerns that I had with this person. She was also a racialized white woman; they both were, and she was making every excuse in the book, as I'm sure you have also encountered. Oh, well, what about this? And oh, it's probably your fault, gaslighting and all the stuff. And, but then when I told her about the clothes thing, I was like, yeah, well, because she had made some point about, she was trying to make it seem like this woman was justified in saying these things to me because of my behavior, you
Oh
know?
no, no.
So then I told her about the clothes thing, and she goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, like in the same breath that she was criticizing me for these other things, she also criticized the clothes that I brought to to the clinic." And you could see like the wheels turning for like a second. And then she goes, "Well, that's all water under the bridge, right?" She switched from trying to put the blame on me to try to get me to forget about it and like just like think about the situation like it never happened and to just move forward.
Well, it's a I've been through that so many different times, man. In the military, uniform
Oh wait,
performance.
hang on, though, Kenny. This is just the beginning of the story. This,
Come on, man, give me. I'm
I'm sure
hearing
you
you.
have like I'm sure you have had identical or like
Sure.
exactly the same. We could probably go through a whole litany of all these different experiences, and we probably have matching things. But like the point of this story is that I talked to the head of clinical programs. He was enraged. He said he knew that it was racism that I was experiencing. I never said that. He said it himself. So he
Hmm.
obviously knew something else about her, or there have been other incidents. But nothing was done except for I was then sequestered to the one lady who had tried to defend her friend and failed. And so all my clients were under her. Whatever, I finished the clinical program. Fast forward a year. I'm at the final round interview for a legal aid job as a criminal defense attorney in Manhattan.
Okay.
I've been told by multiple other attorneys that this interview is a formality if I've gotten to this stage that I have the job. So I'm expecting that kind of scenario. I walk in, my resume is on the desk, but I very quickly realize that she hasn't read it. This is the attorney in charge of the entire practice interviewing me. And after about 5 minutes of drilling down to more and more specific questions about the practice, that I'm answering at first fluently, but then she's getting into specifics that I wouldn't know because I didn't work for them. And so I just said, "Oh, I don't know the answer to that one, but I'm happy to learn and excited to, like, et cetera, blah, blah, blah." And
That was your downfall right there.
she said, "You're unprepared for this interview."
Yeah. Did I call it? Did I
Yeah,
call it?
of course, you knew. Of course, you're gonna be able to like. You could tell these stories yourself, I'm sure. But like,
Come on.
hang
Come
on.
on.
She says this, and my brain. I'm racking my brain. I'm like, this was totally outside of anyone's expectation who I talked to who had knowledge of this situation. This is. I know I'm not unprepared. Because I've steal, I know who I am, I know what I've done, and I have confidence in myself. Like you were saying earlier, I had built for myself at that point in time, luckily, just barely enough,
Right.
uh, confidence and fortitude and understanding of my own self that I knew that it was wrong what she said, and that her saying it was not going to make me start questioning myself because I knew what I had done. I knew what I knew. So
Right.
I literally asked her to explain herself and explain why she thought I was unprepared. And she answered. And then she said, "Oh, you couldn't answer my questions." I was like, "Actually, I answered all your questions except for this last one because it worked for you guys." Like I was like, "Ask me again." She asked me all the exact same questions again. And you could see her hearing my answers for the first time. Could literally observe her realizing in real time that she had no intention of hiring me in the first place. She had no intention of doing it, but she realized that I had a quality about me that she had tuned out because she had no intention of doing anything.
Right.
She then told me that she would help me become a paralegal, and then
Hmm.
she apologized for saying that.
So the shift though, right? Like you described a couple of things, man. So when you confronted, there was a moment there that you actually held that mirror up. That's that's the exact work that I'm talking about. When you may not have known what you had done, or you may not have realized, or
Oh,
like
I knew exactly what I was doing.
perfect, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. But at that moment, when you're able to like look at this person, you're like, okay, I can see, I can hear the cues, I can hear this stuff. And if I may give a suggestion, which you already know, if you can fine tune your emotions to not respond to that in a way that it comes off that you're calling them out on being racist, or you're getting all their defense mechanisms up because you already know already the fragility, the defensiveness, they're just going to take off running once you confront them with that. But as soon as you pull that up, that as soon as you hear it and get that mirror up and you start getting in the works, man, and start using those words, and you start using the terminology and you start showing them, I'm not willing to bet 100% on it, man, but you're gonna open up that door 50-50, and there's gonna be a change, there's gonna be a shift, and
I mean,
that's
I saw the shift. I literally
yeah.
watched her shift.
We need to learn, as a black community, we need to learn how to manage that situation a lot better. That very particular moment that you were talking about, that you handled, and something that I'm able to do so well, that we have to encapsulate that and teach many more of us on how to do those particular things. And there's probably a few individuals out there right now that's listening to this and saying they already know, and I get it, because that's what we've had to develop over time, and on how to survive. We got to feed our families, we got to take care of our kids, we have to get them into programs and what we're trying to do in life. And so through trial and error, we've had to do those things and learn how to do it by learning. And so, but where it becomes the most effective is that weakest link, what we were talking about before this entire conversation. That weakest link that doesn't know how to do that. We need to get them the information, or set it down somewhere along this path. So by the time they get to that benchmark in their life, then they're able to strategically put those things to work and make effect, so that they can keep moving forward with their lives.
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
yeah.
unfortunately for me, I wasn't able to keep moving forward. I actually had to abandon practicing law because she kept finding more and more reasons not to hire me. And so there was literally, she was never going to do it. No amount of emotional control on my part was going to allow me to get a job at
Yeah.
legal aid. So that's the situation I was confronted with. I realized in that I was like, oh, there's like literally nothing I can do. She
Right.
sent me away to try to go get a judicial order. Like, I mean, she was pulling laws out of the books. I mean,